Okay, the layer cake has both vanilla and chocolate frosting. What percent of the surface area of the cake, not including the bottom, is chocolate? Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. So we are going to be looking at a couple of different things here. We have to modify our formulas to make sure that they work out. Okay, but we need to find the surface area of multiple pieces here, and then we will go ahead and find out the percent of area. Okay, now when we're looking at this, we are going to be finding the surface area of this cake. Okay, normally our surface area formula would be equal to 2 times by pi times by the radius squared plus 2 times by pi times by h. Okay, now there's an issue with this. Normally, we get this 2 pi r squared because it's 2 times by the area of the circle. We're using two circles. We're using the circle on top, and we're using the circle on bottom. Okay, but it says not including the bottom here. Okay, so we can't include the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to not include the bottom, which means we can't include that piece in our formula. So we're going to modify this formula to be the surface area of this cake is going to be equal to just pi r squared plus 2 pi times pi h. Okay, that's because we're not doing top and bottom, we're just doing one of them. So it's like having a 1 here instead, which we don't need to show ones when we're just multiplying. Okay, so our surface area is going to be equal to pi times by our radius, which is 4 squared, plus 2 times by pi times by, ooh, I forgot our radius here. Radius times by 4. And then times by my height. My height for the whole thing is going to be both of those two, so it's going to be times by 4 again. So my surface area is going to be equal to pi times by 16 plus 2 times by pi times by 16. So I end up with my surface area is equal to 16 pi plus 32 pi, or surface area is equal to 48 pi. Now, this is my exact answer, and I'm going to hold off for a minute. Okay, I need to then find the surface area that is the chocolate piece. Now, the chocolate surface area, right, is just going to be the lateral surface area. We're not including the bottom, and we're not including the top, right? We're looking at just what percent of the cake is going to be the chocolate piece. So when we're doing that, we have to do just the lateral surface area for the chocolate. And that's just going to be 2 pi r h. So when we do this, it's going to be 2 times by pi times by 4 times by height, which in this case is going to be 2 because it's just the chocolate piece. So this is going to be equal to 2 times by pi times by 8, which is going to be equal to 16 pi. Okay, now what we're doing is we're finding the percent. Okay, and so what we're going to end up doing is we're going to see that this is going to become 16 pi for the surface area, or the lateral surface area of the chocolate piece, and we're going to divide this by 48 pi because that's the surface area of the whole thing, not including the bottom. What this is going to do is cancel out this, and we're going to see that this is going to be equal to 1/3, which is going to be equal to 33%. And when we look at this, I'm starting to wonder what we're going to get, but we should be able to see this is going to be 33.3%. And we are good. Remember that 1/3, right? 1/3 is going to be equal to 0.3333, right? It's just going to keep on going forever. So if we want to include it all the way to the 10th place, we just include the 3's all the way to the 10th. And then because the next 3 is going to be 3, right, we can actually round down, right? So we would see this is going to be that, and it's just going to drop off. So we'd have 33.3%.